All right. So, what's up, ladies? For some reason, my computer did not want to work today. There you are. What's up? What's up?
Hello.
Hi,
Hey, hey.
how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. What's going on with both of you ladies?
Well, I'm here representing me and Cassandra.
There you go.
Yeah,
Represent the team.
yeah. So I will be listening. However, I'm gonna put the video on off because I got two kids here.
No worries.
I have to get up every once in a while, so I will be listening, definitely.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay.
Joy.
Oh,
Yeah.
one more thing.
What's up?
Hi.
I need that link for tomorrow night's class. Can you send it to me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, great. Okay.
Let me see here. What's up, Joy?
What's up?
Long time no see.
Yeah.
I love it. Let me see. I got to get everything situated here. I've been playing with my computer for the past 30 minutes. It's like whenever you need your computer to do something for you, it doesn't want to work.
Get that.
Exactly. Cool. All right. I know what I want to talk about tonight. Let me see. Do I need to do anything else? I don't think so. Oh, let me send that to you right now, Teresa, while you're here. If I can. Ba-doop.
Okay. Let me check it out.
Boop.
Got it.
All right. I put it in the chat box for you.
Oh, okay. That's the confirmation from. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Perfect. So that'll work for you tomorrow to get you in.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, good.
Let's get this night started. So today I want to talk about, hold on, I need props. I want to talk about today this thing that we call money. Anybody ever seen one of these before? I'm sure we all have.
Would like
So what is this, right? This is fake money, by the way, just so you know. But what is this really? Let's kind of do a history of money before we go any further. Let's go back in time. So what happened years ago, right? There was cavemen, and we had two purposes, two things of importance in our life, two things that mattered. The only things that mattered were these two things. You ready? Survival and replication. That's it, right? We were purely animals at this point. There was no economy. There was no civilization. There was no rules and regulations, no constitution, no governments, no systems in place. And what began to happen was we began to formulate these systems, because I always like to think about this. This is a fun story. So whatever you believe in, whether it's God, Jesus Christ, Allah, whatever your belief system is, but think about like the gods up in heaven, right? They all created, or maybe it was one God. They created all of these species, right? All these different animals. Me and my girlfriend, we just went to the zoo together and we saw lions and tigers, and we saw a bear and penguins and all kinds of amazing animals, giraffes, zebras. And I just picture like the people up in the skies, the gods, the heavens, whatever you want to call it. I picture them sitting down and placing bets, right? They're like sitting at this like Texas Hold'em table, but instead of like having an ace of diamonds and a king and a jack, they have all of the different species of animal. And I picture them sitting up there and just being like, I think the lion is going to be the superior race. I think they're going to take over the world. It's going to be a world ruled by lions. And then someone sitting next to them going, dude, what are you talking about? Lions, really? Come on. It's going to be the rhinoceros. The rhinoceros is bigger. It's stronger. It's got tougher skin. It's got that big horn on the front of its head. Totally going to win this race. And then there's like another girl across the room, and she's like, what are you guys talking about? It's not lions. It's not rhinoceros. It's elephants. And my point is, if we were up there in the heavens with these gods and we were betting, I'm willing to bet, me personally here on earth, I'm willing to bet I would not have picked human beings. I would not have said, you know what? I think the human, this thing with no claws, no sharp teeth, no thick hide, can't run fast, can't jump high. I think that's going to be the superior race of society out there. Like, nobody would pick us. Why are we so superior? Why are we this top race? Because we had something that none of these other species had. We had a much bigger brain. And it's because of our brain power that we have evolved so far. I mean, you could look at any movie, you could take any history class and go back as far as you want and just look at the difference in how human beings used to look years ago compared to how human beings look today. And that's through evolution, right? It's because we've evolved. It's because we've moved forward throughout that time. So how does that relate to money? Because today I said we were talking about money. Money is based on a set of rules, right? This is really an instruction manual. It's like if you bought a game of Monopoly and took out the instructions, this is what the instructions look like. And according to these instructions, this says that you have $100 worth of value. Now let's do some basic economics here. How much do you think it costs to make this $100 bill? It probably costs a few bucks, right? Let's call it $1 for easy math. So according to economics, right, for easy math, it costs you $1, right? It probably costs less, maybe more, who knows? But we'll just say $1 to make a $100 bill. What does that really mean? That means that the value assigned to this $100 doesn't actually exist. This is fake. This whole thing is made up. It's in our minds. Why is this one? I actually don't have other cash. I only have 100s. But picture if I had a 5 or a 10 or a 20 or a 1. What makes them different value? Because they probably all cost the same to make. It costs the same amount of money to make a $1 bill, a $5 bill, a 10, a 20, a 50, a 100, a 500, or a $1,000 bill. It costs about the same, right? It might vary slightly, but where does the value of this come from? It comes from us. We give it the value. And here's the funniest part is that today, it's actually completely valueless. Anybody lived through 1971 when Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard? I didn't even live through it, and I know about this. Money, dollars used to be backed by gold, right? The Federal Reserve notes, these dollars, they were backed by gold. So you could actually get an equal amount of gold to the equivalent of the dollar amount that you had. But in 1971, Nixon took the dollar off of the gold standard, which just means today it's just paper. In fact, it's not even really paper. It's actually a note. So money, if you didn't know this, is actually referred to as fiat money or fake money, if you will, right? Because these are really just Federal Reserve notes. And in fact, I don't know if this one says it because this is fake money. Here you go. Yeah, so right underneath, so right here, you can't really see it, but it says the United States, this says play money because this is fake money. It says this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private, right? So this is basically a note. It's basically debt, right? The more money that the government prints, the more money we owe back at that point. So let's roll back again, back to this caveman period. What happened back then? Because back then we didn't have Benjamin Franklin on a piece of paper. He wasn't even alive yet. What happened back then? Here's what happened. We had two goals, survival and replication, like we talked about earlier. So how did we survive? We hunted. We went out and found our own food. We got our own food. We hunted it for ourselves. And in order to do that, we needed to develop certain skills. One of those skills was working together, right? How does man take down a lion? Well, they don't do it alone. They needed to work together. So let's say we brought 10 people together and all 10 of us killed one lion. How do we determine who eats? Who gets to eat what of the lion? See, we already started creating these rules, and we started putting these rules in place. We say, all right, we're going to cut the lion into 10 pieces of equal size. And each one of you are going to get 10 equal pieces from that lion. So what happened? You created value. You made yourself valuable by being part of the team that went out and killed the lion. And so you reap the rewards for that value. In many ways, it's the same as today. If you walk into a store and you have a $100 bill, you're valuable to that store. You're giving them this tender, right? This money in exchange for the product, good, or service that you want. If I wanted to buy a box of tissues, I go in, I give them my money, I exchange my money for the box of tissues, money for tissues, tissues for money, right? It's just this medium of exchange. We did the same thing years ago, but years ago, we didn't have these pieces of paper. What we had instead is we might have had a farm. We might have owned our own farm. And on our farm, we had a lot of cows. And right next to our farm, Joy had a little agriculture commerce kind of a business, right? We're a little bit further ahead than cavemen at this point. We're moving, we're progressing through history. So Joy has this commerce business, and Joy has a lot of chickens, and her chickens hatch a lot of eggs. So Joy's selling eggs like crazy, right? She's trading these eggs. Well, I realize, you know what? I can't live on milk alone. I can't live on cheese alone. I need some protein. I need to get some of Joy's eggs. So what do? I don't have Benjamin Franklin's. I go over to Joy and I walk onto her farm. And I say, hey, Joy, listen, I'm having a bad season this year. I'm not getting that many chickens that are producing eggs. And I see you have dozens and dozens of chickens here that are producing eggs. I'll tell you what, I noticed that you don't have any cows on your farm right now. You're not producing any milk. You're not producing any cheese. I'll tell you what, I'll give you some of my cows if you give me some of your chickens. And we make a trade at that point. She gives me chickens. I give her cows. Those chickens lay eggs for me, which allow me to eat and to survive and to continue living in this world. And same thing with Joy. Joy now has cows that produce milk that she can drink and cheese that she can eat. And again, the same cycle continues. So we just made this direct trade. So the question is, why don't we make the direct trade today? How come I don't walk into the gas station and I say, hey, I want to buy a box of tissues, and I notice that your shoes are getting kind of old, so I'll give you my pair of shoes if you give me this box of tissues, right? Or whatever the equal trade is, right? Hey, I'll give you my shoes, I'll give you my cell phone for this box of tissues, right? Here you go. Let's make the trade. Why do we not make the trade directly anymore? I'll tell you exactly why. Because lugging cows around the world with you and exchanging your cows for another service is very difficult. Cows are not very easy to move. They're not very transportable, right? You can't really throw a bunch of cows onto an airplane, travel across the country, and make that exchange. So what we did is we created something that's called fungible. And fungible just means transportable. Money is very easy to carry. It fits in your pocket and fits in your wallet. It fits in your hand, right? It's very light. It's lightweight. So it's very easy to transact with this. But like we said, the value is not in this. It's in this, or in this, or in this computer screen, or in this webcam, or in this keyboard that I have here, right? Or in this mouse, or in this microphone, right? The value of money comes from the thing that we exchange it for. Let me give you the perfect example. You ever notice that many Americans, especially people who are uneducated in money, often will do things with money that they will never do with the things that money can buy? let's look at a simple example, saving money, right? We're taught oftentimes in school or by financial advisors or whoever that you need to save money. If you want to make a lot of money, you got to save your money. So you take all your money that you make, right? And you put it nice and neat and you put it inside of this box over here. Okay. And then what do? You don't touch your money for 152 years, right? Or 30 years, however long they tell you. Don't touch it. Don't touch the money. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. You leave it there. And they say, look, there's compound interest. Your money will grow when you leave it there. Leave it in our bank account, leave it in a Roth IRA, in a 401k, in whatever. And you're just saving this money. You're just storing it there, right? It just sits there. It gets taken out of motion and it just sits there. So money is no longer doing the thing that we just talked about, right? We just said money is this transactionary medium, right? It's actually literally it's a medium because it's this middle ground between the services, right? It's this thing that has this perceived value attached to it that we trade in exchange for a product, good, or service. So now we're deleting that part of it. We're getting rid of what money is meant to do, and we're putting it away and we're saving it. Okay. And this is where for me it clicked, and for a lot of other people it clicked. You know what's funny? Saving money is the exact opposite of what we would do with the thing that money could buy. Let's say that I took this $300, okay, and I bought myself a brand new leather jacket. Okay. I buy myself a brand new leather jacket. I wouldn't take that leather jacket, hang it up in the closet, and never wear it for 30 years. If I took this $300 to the grocery store and went grocery shopping for $300, excuse me, and went to the store, I wouldn't come home, put all my food in the fridge and never eat it. Doesn't make any sense, right? But that's exactly what we do with our money. We take our money, we put it in a box, and we never touch it. And what do they tell us? They tell us, hey, if you leave it here, when you come back, there will be more money. There will be more dollars, right? It's like buying a loaf of bread at the store, coming home, putting the loaf of bread in the freezer, never eating the loaf of bread for 30 years. And then in 30 years, you open up your freezer and there's 2 loaves of bread in there, right? Are both loaves of bread still going to be frostbitten in 30 years? Of course they are, right? Same thing, because let's talk about inflation very quickly. The value of this dollar goes down every time more and more money is being printed. Like we talked about, Nixon took the dollar off of the gold standard back in 1971. So this doesn't actually have any value except for the perceived value behind it. And the perceived value oftentimes is not inside of the money, it's inside of the product, good, or service. How many of us know somebody out there who will easily take $300 and pay a life coach to change their life, or they'll pay for a course or a mastermind or a business coach, or they'll pay for a library full of books, right? Kim knows plenty of people like that. How many of us also know a person who wouldn't spend $1 on a life coach, on a business coach, on a mastermind, on a mentorship, on books, on training, on coaching, right? Exactly. So the dollar amount hasn't changed, right? I could tell each one of you, hey, I have a product right now. It'll change your life, right? And I pitch this product and I tell you it's $300. And one of you might go, bam, here's your money. Here, take it, right? I love it. Let's do it. And another one of you might go, are you kidding me? I wouldn't pay you a penny for that service. That product that you just described to me, it has no value to me. I don't know why you're trying to get $300 for this. This is insane. I don't see the value in this product. So the game of money is all around perception. It's all around perceived value, right? Because this $100 really it's not $100, right? This is a medium of exchange. That's all it is. And I can exchange this medium for products, goods, or services that people have deemed are worth $100. How many of us have, here, let me ask a new question about money. How many of you have bought something for $100 and it was absolutely worth it? You completely got your money out of it. You're like, this was worth every penny. I would have paid 10 times as much for this product, right? Kim has. Now, at the same time, how many of you have paid the same $100 for a product and you're like, what the heck was I thinking? That was the worst purchase I ever made in my life. I completely wasted $100 on that purchase. I can't believe I did that. What's wrong with me? I'm going to take this one on the chin. It's just, I'm going to have to chalk this one up to a loss at this point because this was such a bad decision, right? Again, the money hasn't changed. The dollars haven't changed, right? And like Kim said, she said it in the chat box, I lost one of my hundreds now. I can't find my money. Hold on. All right, I got it. We need to do this right? The money hasn't changed, but your perceived value of the product has changed at that point. So here's the biggest key. And I tell this to people all the time. People often ask me, it's funny, actually, I'll tell you a true story. I was at a party recently with a bunch of my friends and stuff like that. And a buddy of mine, I haven't seen him in a long time. He lives in New York. He came up to visit and he's like, hey man, I see that you're running this mastermind. You got a new business going on. You're crushing it. Things are rocking and rolling. Everything's looking great, dude. Tell me about that. And I told him, yeah, man, we do this mastermind. We bring people together. We coach them. They change their lives, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And I told him about the mastermind. And he said, look, here's the funny thing. I've been thinking about doing something similar and kind of starting my own gig and going off and doing my own thing. But I'm so afraid to ask for the sale. And I hear this so often from salespeople or from new business owners. They're like, hey, I want to do this thing, but I don't want to ask my friends to pay money, right? That's kind of what they're saying in so many words. And I said, dude, I totally get it. Let me ask you a question. And because he asked me, he said, how do I overcome this? And I said, all right, let me ask you a question. And the question I asked him is, what is money? And he gave me his definition of money. And it was kind of ethereal. It was kind of out there, but he had somewhat of a semblance of an idea. And I said, look, for me, money means one thing and one thing only. Money is simply a byproduct of value exchange. And I'll say that again. If you didn't write it down, write it down. Money is simply a byproduct of value exchange. See, the value exchange happens with or without the money. Here's another question to ask, and I'm sure Kim has been here. I'm sure all of you have been here. How many of you have ever made a trade where it didn't involve money? You traded something of yours for something of someone else's. Maybe it was a skill of yours, right? And you made this trade and you receive value from making that trade. You're like, man, this was awesome. I was able to help this person with this thing. They were able to help me. I got so much value from this. I got so much reward from this. I was able to take so much from this, and you never spent $1. You didn't spend a penny on anything, right? Dana's been there. Dana's raising her hand. She's been there, right? The same thing is happening when we pay for something. When we use money, the same exact thing happens. We're exchanging value, right? Whether it's a student paying for a teacher, right? In my case, it's a mastermind, right? It might be a one-on-one coach. It might be whatever, right? The teacher, what's valuable to the teacher? Having students is valuable to them. What's valuable to the student? Learning, growing, expanding their knowledge. So that value exchange was made. But what do we put in the middle? We put money, right? I can't even put it in the middle. Got to put it in the middle of my hands, right? So the value is each of my hands on each side. And then sitting in the middle of that value is the dollar, right? Is the monetary value in the middle. So all that we're really doing as business owners and entrepreneurs is we're trying to match our value with the dollar amount. And really, if we want to do well in business, we want the value to far exceed and outweigh the dollar amount that we're asking, right? I charge $2,500 for a mastermind that I run. And for me, my goal every single week is to give every one of my students $25,000 worth of value. And I think that if you ask them, I come pretty close to that every week, right, Joy? Right, Joy's smiling over there. she knows it. So for me, that's the goal, is I'm looking at the value and I'm saying, how much value can I give to people and how little can I charge them for that value? How can I give them so much more value than what they actually paid for? That's the goal. And when that happens, that's when we gladly hand over our dollars. You ever buy something and go, what happened? Like, I don't know. I just handed over the money and now here I am. And I'm still happy with my purchase. I don't get it. Right? That's because the value far exceeded the price at that point. Right? It's like if I told you, hey, it's going to cost you $200 to go food shopping every week or every 2 weeks, or you can buy my entire supermarket that's stocked with food. And by the way, every 2 weeks, it's going to get restocked with food, and I'll sell you the supermarket for $100. Does that sound okay? Right? Everybody would be all over that. You'd be like, heck yeah. I'd be like, is the food fresh? Yeah, it's completely fresh. Okay, sign me up. I'll pay $100 and have a lifetime supply of food in a supermarket. It's a oversimplification, but you get the idea with that, right? That's exceeding the value with the price, right? Your price is far, or the value is far exceeding the price of that product in that sense. So when we look at money being a byproduct of value creation, that allows us to flip the script. And this has been the game changer for me in my business, in my personal life, in just everything that I do regarding money and finances and all of that stuff. The game changer is this. I no longer think about this because I know this is fake. It's fiat money, right? It's just a Federal Reserve note. That's all it really is at this point, especially today with the onslaught of cryptocurrency coming in and inflation going up and quantitative easing going up, which that just means the government's printing more money than they've ever printed before. Like, this thing is just like falling off a cliff in terms of the value behind the dollar, right? So we're trading in. So when we're saving money, right, we save our money and we leave it there for 30 years. In 30 years, this $100 is not going to be able to buy what it buys today. It will buy less than what it buys today to cover that point. But here's the point that I'm trying to make. Money is simply a byproduct of value creation. When we flip the script and we stop thinking about the money and start thinking about the value, everything, and I mean everything, changes at that point. I coach a lot of people. A lot of people ask me for advice or tips or consulting or coaching or whatever it might be. And a lot of them ask me the same question. They say, hey, how can I make more money? I want to make more money. I need to make more money, more money, more money, more money. And I tell them, look, I don't even ask myself that question, because here's what's going to happen. When you ask yourself, when you say, hey, I need to make more money, how can I make more money? You're going to walk outside and you're going to see a quarter sitting on the ground. And you're going to pick up that quarter, and either consciously or subconsciously, but most likely subconsciously, your brain is going to go, success. We did it. We hit that goal, guys. High five. Way to go. Good job. Remember, you woke up this morning and you said, how can I make more money? Well, guess what? We aligned everything. We had your eyes working. We had your ears working. We made sure you were alert. We turned your observation up to level 10. And now look at you. You found a quarter. We got it. And what that really means at that point is that your brain stops working on a solution to that problem. Because in your mind, right, your subconscious mind can't fully understand what it is you're trying to do. And this just comes down to asking questions. This is a chapter that I wrote in my book, Make Money and Have Fun, which is coming out this fall. It's all about asking questions. And the better questions that we ask, the better answers we receive. And what does that really mean? I mean, let's put that into reality here. The better questions that we ask, the better results we manifest in our life. We all hear about this law of manifestation, right? It's talked about in Think and Grow Rich, the greatest book ever written, and all kinds of other places. But most people don't understand how it really works. The law of manifestation is simply allowing your brain to focus on one thing. That's it. That's all it is. It's like, let's dial in and focus on this very clear, very specific goal and this very specific one thing. And when you consistently do that, you will eventually, I don't know how long, but eventually you'll find it. But it needs to be specific, right? You can't walk around and focus on make more money, make more money, make more money, because your brain can't hit a target that's vague, right? It's like walking into a room full of targets and you're telling your brain, okay, hit it. And your brain's going, which one? Like, I don't get it. What do you do you want $1? Do you want $1 million? Do you want it all at once? Do you want it in income? Do you want it in equity? Like, where am I going here? Make more money? I don't get it. Let's clarify it. Let's break it down. So the question that I ask myself is, how can I create more value today than anybody else is creating? And that's a much clearer question, because you can look at the value and you can make it more specific. You can quantify the level of value. How can I do one thing today that brings value to somebody else, right? Maybe make it like that. But for me, I like looking at the opportunity and I say, what would be valuable for them? What does Joy need today, right? What is Joy looking for? How can I give value? That's what this whole webinar is based on. This is 150% of value add, right? Yeah, I mentioned I have a mastermind. I mentioned it's $2,500 for 6 months in the mastermind. If you want to be a part of it, you're welcome to be a part of it. But I'm not here to sell you. I'm here to give you value. And here's the funniest thing. The more value I give, the more money I make. It's crazy. It's crazy the way that works. I come here week after week after week, and guess what? Joy's joined the mastermind. Teresa's joined the mastermind, right? I have all of these other students that have joined the mastermind from coming here week after week. Why? Because they saw the value. They looked at this and they said, wow, Fred is giving value that is up here, and he's asking a price that's down here. And that's my goal. That's my goal every single day, is how can I wake up today and give more value today than anybody else is giving at this moment. And when that happens, it's amazing, because the money just comes at that point. Because remember, the money is the byproduct. I gave value and the money found me, right? I gave value and the money found me, right? Kim just brought up that she's sharing a chapter in my book. So I'm trying out something crazy this year. I'm throwing a Hail Mary, going out there, trying a brand new business model where I'm writing a chapter book. Chapter books are so fascinating, because this is an interesting value add proposition, where this is like a double-edged valley or river of giving, of value in a sense. Basically, I'm putting a book together and I'm bringing together all of these different authors, because I figured out two things. I wrote 3 books in my life so far. Let me grab them real quick. Here they are. So I wrote this book when I was 21 years old. I wrote this book when I was 24 years old. And I have a 3rd book coming out this fall, which literally I'm just about finished at this point. I was just talking to my publisher today. So that'll be out around September, October-ish at that point. And I found out 2 things. One, this first book that I wrote, this was quite the task, writing a book. It was nearly, I didn't think I was going to be able to finish it. And look, it ain't a crazy big book, right? It's not 1,000 pages or anything like that. It's everything that you need, right? It's only the stuff that you need, no fluff. I got right to the point and I said what I wanted to say. And this book took me almost 2 years to write this. I mean, this was an arduous, tedious, completely uphill battle at that point. My second book was, this is an amalgamation of 4 years of work. So I blogged for about 4 years. I wrote blogs, about 250 or so blogs for about 4 years, and I compiled them all into this book after 4 years. My third book, I did a little bit different. I said, you know what? I don't want to work as hard anymore. I'm going to hire a team of professionals. So I brought on a ghostwriter to do the actual typing for me, right? I took my thoughts, my ideas, she typed them up, made it happen. I hired a publishing company to handle all of the publishing, the distribution to the bookstores, all of that craziness. I hired professional editors to come in and edit the book. I hired a marketing specialist to go out and market my book. And I just finished my taxes. Okay. I just did my taxes for 2020 a couple of weeks ago. And I realized I spent over $15,000 just to publish this one book. So there's two methods, two roads that you can basically go down to write a book. One is doing this ridiculous, crazy, arduous amount of work like I did with my first book. The second way is you can spend a bunch of money, right? You can put a boatload of money behind it and get this professionally made book. Well, what I did is I kind of bridged the gap between both of those things. I went to my publishing company and I said, hey, how can we do this a little bit cheaper, right? How can we make this happen? And we got rid of the ghostwriter. We don't need ghostwriters anymore. We kept the editor a little bit, and we narrowed out the distribution package on how we're going to do it. And what we figured out is that we can still hit Amazon bestseller list, most likely, looking like from the marketing campaign that we're doing. And we're bringing together all of these different authors. So every author, anybody who wants to be featured in a book or wants to be featured in another book or wants to become an Amazon best-selling author, they're coming together and they're saying, hey, I'm going to tell my story. I'm going to give a chapter. I'm just going to do 1,500 to 2,000 words, nothing too crazy. I'm going to tell my story in this book, and then we all come together. And to help me for providing the value of allowing you to be this best-selling author to be featured in this book, I'm just asking for $600 from each author. Because for me, it's going to be about $5,000-$10,000 for everything, somewhere in that kind of range, to pay my team and my publishing company and all of my people to get this going. So when we all come together, it helps me offset the cost. It gives you the opportunity to be part of a book, to be featured in this, to tell your story, for people to see you and find you. A lot of people too, what they also do is they'll put their bio at the end of their chapter. So it'll be like, hey, I'm Joy, da, 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 da. This is what I do. This is how you can find me. Reach me here. And they put a link to their website or their phone number or however they want to be reached. And then any reader of the book can call you up and say, hey, I want to use your services. I have a friend of mine. He's actually in the mastermind with me. He's a personal trainer, and he wrote a couple of books, but he just recently wrote a chapter book, and where he contributed his chapter, and he got like 3 or 4 clients just from contributing that one chapter, because people saw, they read his story, they resonated with him. They said, dude, I see the service that you're providing. I want to call you. I want to email you. I want to reach out to you. I want to do what it is you're doing. And so he's getting clients from that as well. So Kim, thank you for reminding me about that. That's such a cool value add. I'm super excited to see how that one goes, to see what people bring to the table. I'm super excited to read everybody's story. That's really what I'm looking forward to. So if you know any authors, anybody who wants to be featured in a book, let me know. Or if you want to be featured in a book, let me know. We'll get you going. Oh, and the other thing, I forgot to mention this. So I actually do a double whammy. The other value add is I also interview you on my show. So I have a syndicated podcast. Excuse me. It's actually a podcast, web show, and a TV show. It goes on Roku and Amazon Fire TV. And I featured some of the biggest names in this industry that you can think of. I mean, I've had Les Brown on there, Alex Stern, Dr. Greg Reed. I can't even remember, Matt Maddox, Sir John Shin was on there, movie producer, all kinds of amazing people. So you'll be able to say that you've, shared the stage. You've been featured on the same show as Les Brown, as Alex Stern, and all of these people, because I'm going to sit you down. I'm going to interview you, and you'll be on national TV. So if you want to be a part of that, let me know. If you want to be a part of the mastermind, let me know. But again, that, my friends, is as hard as today's sales pitch is going to get, because today's not about sales. It's about value. And sales, here's the funniest part. Since we're on that topic, sales really is value. The people who make a purchase recognize the value in that. Right now, the value changes from person to person. Like I said, for instance, For instance, there are certain things that have no value to me at all, right? Like feminine products, okay? They have no value to me. I'm not going to spend money on feminine products unless my girlfriend needs it or whatever, right? Same thing, this is just a very easy example, very simple example, right? Or it could be a food that I don't like. Like, for instance, I don't like asparagus. I hate asparagus. So asparagus has no value to me. If you were standing on the side of the road and you had a handful of asparagus and said, I'll give you this asparagus for 3 cents, I'd say, nah, I'm good. I don't like asparagus. But that value can change. If I'm starving and there's no other food on planet Earth that I can access quickly, and you tell me, here, I have this asparagus, I'll pay you $100 for that asparagus, because my value has my assessment, my perception of that value has changed. It's changed at that point. And that's really understanding sales. It's understanding, what do they want? What does this person want? Here's the perfect example. Teresa's on here tonight. I spoke with Teresa's sister. Teresa and her sister Cassandra are both members of my mastermind. And I spoke with Cassandra at length when she was deciding to become a member of the mastermind. And we sat there, and it's funny, people actually get frustrated with me when they coach with me, because they ask me a question and I respond to all of their questions with questions. And about the first 15, 20 minutes or so of me coaching is just asking questions. I'm just asking a question. And then when I figure it out, when I get finally, and I follow it down the path and I finally get to that thing where I'm like, oh, here's what you want. This is what you're looking for. This is what's valuable to you. Now we can talk, And sometimes I coach with people and I'm like, this is what's valuable to you. Look, I can't help you with that. That's not my area of expertise. And I'll refer them and I'll say, look, you want to talk to X, Y, and Z, or you want to talk to this person or that person. That's the difference, because I'm looking at this world in terms not of dollars and cents, but of value exchange. How can I give enough to exchange that value where you say, yeah, here's $2,500 and I wish you would have asked for more because I feel like I'm stealing from you right now. That's the game that we're playing. And that's when everything completely changes. At least it changed for me. Because for me, I used to do the same thing. I used to say, how can I make more money today? How can I make more money today? And I went to bed every day frustrated and miserable because I didn't make any more money that day. Today, I keep looking at the next month. Like, for instance, I think it was April. I was looking at April, towards the end of April. And I'm like, wow, this looks like it's going to be my biggest month yet. And then I went to May and I said, wow, May is even bigger than April was. This is my biggest month yet. Right. And now we're getting into June, and I'm already looking at projections, and I'm like, I think June might be bigger than April and May. And then I'm just excited to see what happens in July and August. And really, as cliche, as corny, as frou-frou, high spirits, hands, whatever that it sounds, all I did was change the question in my head. That's it. I wake up in the morning and I say, all right, we got to create value today. What can I do? How can I give today? And I start giving, and I start giving, and I start giving, and I start giving. And next thing you know, someone pays me. And it wasn't this sleazy tactic where I twisted their arm and I manipulated them and I told them half truths and stuff like that. I just laid it on the table. I said, look, here's what it is. This is what you want. I have the answer to it. Do you want to pursue this? If not, no big deal. I had a call with someone yesterday. This is hysterical. He and I are both seasoned salesmen. We've been in business for many years. And he was pitching me. He was actually selling me something, a $35,000 product. And I told him, I'm like, look, dude, today this was simply an information gathering call. Like, I called you just to figure this out, just to learn this, just to get knowledge behind it. I'm not looking to buy it today, but I have a plan to buy it. Here's what I want to do. I want to move my money here and there and and this and that. and I'll probably buy it in about 2 to 3 months. And he goes, dude, I don't care. That's fine. And I'm like, I like you. I like you, because you sell like me. Conversely, on the other hand, I'm talking to my contractor today. I had a leak at my one of my rental properties over the weekend. And I was talking to my contractor today, and he's like, yeah, I don't know, just pay me this much, and I'll take all your money and you'll be left high and dry. And I'm like, you've never been a salesman before, have you? Which is, it's funny with him. I don't care, because obviously I have to pay it, but it's just so funny how he goes about pitching this this money piece at that point. It's like this really like contrived, like, oh, I don't know, it's $1,000, just give me all the money and then we'll go from there. And I'm like, okay. So look at the value. I think that's the key takeaway of everything we talked about today, because the value will set you free. The money will keep you entrapped, and the value will set you free. Kim, what's up? Hanging out from your car.
Sorry, yeah.
No
it's
worries.
Just crazy. Inspectors just couldn't show up on time today, and guess who's on call? Me.
There you go. One of those days.
Kim Possible at the action, right? So
There you
it's all
go.
good.
I'm
But
excited to
great
have you here.
nuggets. What's that?
This is great. I'm excited to have you here. Was this your first Tuesday you came to?
No, I think this is my second.
Okay.
But yeah, no, ever since you've like hooked me up with the book thing and the chapter, I'm so super excited about that. And
It's
I'm
gonna be so
like,
cool.
I'm vision boarding it every day and starting to write. So thanks. Yeah, this is great. Great nuggets of information. I've been listening, and
Yeah, you're
I haven't been writing anything because I'm only at stop signs and traffic.
No worries. I'll send you the recording.
But yeah, no, great nuggets. And I can just tell you guys that from working with Fred through Walter Amorello's mentorship, through just knowing him personally and everything else, it's total value add, and it totally manifests itself. So I'm just I'm there. I've been doing my net worth for a year now. I've been in this mentorship, and it's been absolutely amazing. And I'm similar to Fred, where I have 3 women-owned businesses, and it absolutely manifests when you do the right thing, if it's morally, ethically, and legal.
Yep.
Right. And we just love, it's a value add for us as human beings to give value add to our clients, and our, it's amazing.
Yeah, it feels good.
It feels good.
Feel
It's
good.
education. I'm doing a ladies mastermind at my house. I did my first one yesterday with 18 ladies.
Wow, that's
The
great.
mentorship. Woo!
That's so cool.
And yeah, it was kind of crazy, but it was a beta test. But it was amazing. And everybody just collaborated, and it's synergies. And I love the word synergies because it's like teamwork. It's synergies and teamwork, right? And it's just about working together and taking the weaknesses and the strengths and making stuff happen. And you find partnerships and collaborations, and through this whole world of real estate investing and doing the right thing, I just really feel like it's absolutely amazing. And I am a diehard truth, I'm living it and breathing it every day. And that's why I'm still in my car at, I don't even know what time, 7 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
Because you have to, and Fred, it's kind of, so can I share one thing? So when we were down in Florida for our, Walter Amorello mastermind week, we had to walk across glass, right? Doug McGurk, amazing, NLP, the whole 9 yards. We had to walk across glass and then put an arrow at our throat at the end of it, amongst other things that we had to do crazy in that 5 days. but it teaches you to adjust. And when you're stepping on that glass, as you're stepping across that glass, you adjust your business, and it makes you really think about where you're going and what your value add is, right? So, and it's huge because you're like, oh my gosh, like, ouch, that hurts.
Yeah.
So I adjust my business a little bit this way. So
Love it.
you can always adjust your value add according to whatever your business is.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be real estate investing. It
was-
can be
That was
whatever.
the entire year of 2020.
Exactly. So I'm with you, Fred, that like, you know, you look at your net worth every month, and when you really focus on what makes you the most money and what is your value add, what are your strengths, what are you super strong at, and what's your pivot, right? We're all coming out of a pandemic and COVID pivot. So we're all coming out of it in a different way with our businesses. But you've certainly contributed to amazing nuggets tonight. And thank you so much for sharing in your history. And I need to start reading more books. I listen to Audible and Grant
Okay,
Cardone.
my
all
book's
the
coming
time.
out soon.
Right? Exactly. So
Once you become an author, that's when you start reading them all.
so I have no problem reading. I listen to Audible because I'm in my car,
Yep,
obviously,
me too.
most of the time. And I love to take notes, and I always take notes and do my value add afterwards in my journal. But, you know, thank you very much for sharing and your history and your nuggets tonight. And it's super appreciated. And thanks for letting me share,
Thanks for being here.
you know.
I want to talk to
It's
Dana.
awesome.
Dana, what's going on? I think this is your first time here. Can you unmute yourself?
Hi, I'm here.
What's going on? Dana, what did you think of tonight?
It was great. I'm actually in California right now.
Wow.
So it's almost 4 o'clock here.
Right. It's I'm in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So we're
Yeah.
opposite ends.
I am working on creating a business plan right now. I don't have all the specifics of it. I'm just really curious about being more financially savvy and wanting to just learn more about everything. And so what you both said was great information for me. I took notes. And so I look forward to continuing to be on these calls.
Yeah. So if you want, every Tuesday I do these at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So we're here every week. And then if you wanted also, you might benefit from being a part of the mastermind. So what I do with the mastermind, just so you know, is I actually offer everybody a free seat for their first time. And basically you get a seat in the room as opposed to at the table. So you're kind of like a fly on the wall, just observing, seeing us in there. We don't pull anything back. We're not pulling any punches or anything like that. It's real. It's raw. It's us. We're going to be the same way we are every single week. And if you like the vibe, you like the environment, we can talk about, bringing you on as a member if you want, but I always like to offer it for free the first time. So what I'm actually going to do is it actually starts right now at 7 p.m. So I gotta run in a minute, but what I'll do is I'll drop the link to the mastermind in the chat box. So if you want to stop by today, you can. If you want to do it next week, and you can do that as well.
I'm working, so it's a perfect time for me to just sit in and listen. So
there you go.
Tonight.
Yeah. All right. So let me copy that. Boom. I'll put that right there.
As long as I don't have to introduce myself or anything like that.
Oh, I'm gonna bring you up on stage and spotlight you the whole night. No, we'll just have you say hi. So copy the link, because as soon as I close this meeting, it's gonna go away. So make sure you have
I
it
already
copied.
copied it.
Yeah,
Perfect.
hit the 3 dots.
Yep. Perfect.
Right.
So copy that. So you have it. On that note, I gotta run because I got a mastermind to do. So I will see you ladies in just a minute. See you then.
Thanks, Fred.
Yep. See ya.